Good morning.
Are you ready to be a success? Master your career, your a success. Do you believe it? A success. Come on, let's be a success. See, are you ready to be a success? She's a career master. A success. A success. A success. A success.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Lisa Lindsay Wicker, President and CEO of Linwick and Associates and publisher of Career Mastered magazine and host of the Inside Career Success Show. I'm ecstatic to be again with you as we talk with women about their careers, about their success. Most importantly, today, I'm truly thrilled. I have a guest with us today that I truly love to the moon and back, but more importantly, because she is legendary. And it's not every day that she stops by to talk with me. And I am just thrilled that she's taken the time out of her busy schedule to be with us today. But before I bring her forward, let me tell you just a little about Career Masters Inside Career Success Show. We're in our 22nd episode, and this show is about women who lift other women, women who give back, women who are in the marketplace every day doing the business of business, and women who truly are proven leaders. And so we're thrilled each week to bring women to you so that one, you can get inspired, but two, learn from their gems, and three, have an opportunity to have conversation with us in our chat. And so we're featuring today none other than the remarkable Florine Mark. She is a gem. But before I say that she's going to come on from the green room, let me tell you about Career Mastered Magazine. Career Mastered Magazine has been in existence since 2018. We're walking into our fifth year. And because of you, we're able to have content that helps women around the globe. And since we started with an episode launch in Detroit, as well as New York and Charlotte. Since that time, we have over 200,000 daily impressions. And because of you, we're winning. And we're making sure that we provide content for women to accelerate their women's leadership. We also have men allies that come on the show, and we will be presenting them as we grow. But for now, let me tune in to today's show as I introduce to you Florine Mark. Let's bring her on. Hi, Florine.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm happy, beautiful, wonderful, terrific. That's the only way I can be. I have two choices when I get up every morning: happy, unhappy. I don't like unhappy, so I am happy.
I love it. I love you. Well, I tell you, we're so thrilled that you stopped by this morning to speak with us. I love the colors you're wearing. Of course, you know my colors are pink and green, and I love the floral. It's beautiful. And our conversation today is around the theme capacity. Give it all you've got. You and I know that I wrote an award winning book and you wrote the foreword. So thank you so very much for that. And as we start today, if you give me a moment just to give our audience some of your background, I'm going to take the privilege to read it. And I'm not going to try and guess at it. I'm going to read it a little bit. Okay. So, Florine Mark is a role model, a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and she is forever young, vibrant. I love that. She is the former president and CEO of the WW, which is Weight Watchers Group Incorporated. She spent more than 50 years as the leading franchise holder of Weight Watchers International. And Mark created the company as a family business from the ground up in 1966, acquiring franchises throughout the Midwest, East Coast, and Canada, including Mexico. Some of these franchises were sold in 2003. And in March of 2021, Mark and her family entered into an agreement to sell all of her operations in Michigan and Canada. But hey, we know that she continues to keep it moving. I love her style and her vibe. And she is affiliated with some of the nation's most prestigious institutions, including Business Leaders of Michigan, the Jewish Federation of North America, and she serves on the Women's Leadership Board at Harvard University John F. Kennedy School of Government, where she works to globally advance women's leadership and public policy. And that's where she and I connect, because we believe in supporting and advancing women's leadership. Now, I could go on and on, but you can go and read her bio. She, first of all, I'd like to say, is the inaugural Career Master, Women's History Living Legend. And boy, is she living. And so she has given us a line of sight of how to just live. And as she said this morning, it's not about being unhappy. It is about the choices we make. Welcome, Florine.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you, Lisa.
Absolutely. So I am inspired to have women on the show that really help us help others. And you do that every day. And we're just going to start with a couple of words that are important to me as we talk about the subject of capacity, right? And so these words are very simple. So if I say these words, I would like you to just finish the sentence for me in however you want. Success is.
Success is being a kind, empathetic, wonderful woman who is, I think of success, and success for me, who I am. I'm Florine Mark. I am mother. I'm the mother of 7 children. I'm widowed, so I don't have a husband. I am businesswoman. And then I am a person that gives back to the community. And for me, if I can do everything like that every single day, it's not when you become successful, it's living every single day. Every day is success.
Awesome. Awesome. And that you are. If we talk about capacity, obviously to get there, we have the word failure. Failure is for you.
Failure is giving up. Failure is not trying. The only people that fail are people that don't stop trying. So if you want to be successful, try. If it doesn't work out, excuse me, if it doesn't work out, try again. And if this doesn't good, change, and change is wonderful. And try again until you find something that is your passion, that you can really give your all to.
Yes. Yes, yes. So the book that you wrote the foreword for, and I've watched you over the course of our becoming connected back in 2015, and I can't imagine what happened before then. But living life without limits is for you what?
Living life without limits is being yourself. It's believing in who you are. And going forward every single day in that manner. And if you have limits, if you put limits on yourself, I mean, we do the worst things to ourselves. It's not other people.
Yes.
If you put limits, I can't do this or I can't do that, you're never going to do it, because I believe that what you tell yourself, your mind, your brain tells you what to do. And if you want to believe, you can achieve. And that's what capacity and success and putting limits on is all about.
I agree. I totally agree. When I look at your career, and right now you've written the story of legacy, quite honestly. And I am so thrilled to know that you continue to write that story of your life, and people watch and say, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm inspired. I could probably do some of those same things. But like you and we still have things to accomplish. If there's one thing that you still have yet to accomplish, would you like to share that with us?
You know what? I can't. The only thing I really want to accomplish, but it's not my accomplishments, is making sure that my children are fine, and I see my grandchildren grow up, and maybe, go on and on and on. Those are the things that I want to accomplish. Giving back to the community.
Yes.
I love business. I love sitting on boards. That's what I'm doing right now. I love speaking. I do a lot of coaching. I speak for businesses and colleges. Anyone that wants, I'm available to speak. And I just let people know that they can be happy and do what their passion is. And if your passion isn't what you're doing, then make a change. And if you don't want to make a change, then learn to love what you're doing. So that if your passion is X and you're in Y, learn to love Y.
That's true. That's true. Well, you have such a rich history of your background. Take us back to your hometown. Tell us a little about your community, your family, how your parents provided foundations for your resourcefulness.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. That's a, really terrific question because I came from nothing. I mean, no resources at all. I was born into this world. We were very, very poor. I went and lived with my mother, my father, my two sisters, my grandmother, my grandfather, 6 aunts and uncles, and a disabled uncle. So there was 13 of us living in this house, and I lived there until I got married when I was 16 years old. But there was lots of love, and my sister got polio, and the year before Salk researched and developed the vaccine, and she was in a wheelchair. It was a hard life for her, but we did everything. The whole family did everything to make her feel that, the only difference between her and I was that she couldn't use her legs.
Yes.
And that's what people do things to themselves and say, I can't do this and I can't do that. I mean, yes, you can. You can do anything. There's Special Olympics. There's people that are playing tennis in wheelchairs. Yes. Everything is available to you if you want it to be. So I grew up poor. I had lots of love. When my sister got polio, my mother was at a hospital with my sister for about 2 years. I had aunts and uncles that loved me, my grandmother, my grandfather. They always told me that I could do anything I want. I'm a good girl. I was very fat. I was 50 pounds overweight when I was about 14 years old. Mm-hmm. But my family didn't look at that. I was bullied in school. In school, they called me Fat Flo. And if they didn't want to say Fat Flo, they'd say FF, like I didn't know what FF was. We didn't know what bullying was then, but I was bullied, and I'd come home and I'd cry and say to my mother or my grandmother, the kids are making fun of me because I'm so fat. And my mother would say, sit down, honey, have a piece of cake, you'll feel better. And that's the way I grew up, knowing that food was love at that particular time. Now I know that food is medicine. Yes. Food is something that gives you energy, that makes you healthy, and that you have to eat right. So I grew up, I always knew I wanted to take care of my family. I got married. I graduated high school in June. I was 16 in February, graduated high school in June. I got married in August, had a baby the following September, and was divorced by the time I was 18 years old.
Wow.
Because I knew that his values and mine were different. He's a very nice person, and I'm a nice person. We just weren't right for each other. So then I went on and I went to work. I managed companies. I love real estate. I managed real estate. I love fashion. I went into whatever company I could that would hire me. I went to work. And then I remarried a man who was 23 years older than me, and went on. By the time I was 26, almost 27, I had 5 children. And you know something, Lisa, those were the best times of my whole life. So here I was, married, and by the time he died when I was 35, he had cancer. So I'm again a widow. I'm divorced and I'm a widow. I have 5 children. I'm running a business. I'm trying to help my sister in a wheelchair. I gave her half of my business because I wanted her to be independent. Yes. Trying to take care of my own family and my mother and my father and my aunts and uncles, and doing the best I could for the family, because that's the way we were brought up. That family is very, very important. And it is to me to this day. Family is important. And then when I heard about Weight Watchers, it was only in New York. I called up Jean Knightish, a blessed memory, and I said, can you do something for me? I'm 50 pounds overweight. I have 5 children. Oh, I'd been to diet doctors. I would take those terrible pills. I would lose weight. And as soon as I lost the weight, I gained it all back again. And then I'd go for more diet pills, which were crazy. They were amphetamines and thyroid and all kinds of things. I mean, I'm there, but with the grace of God go I. I'm so lucky to have a nice body, because I really abused it for so many years. Jean Knightish said, no, you got to come to New York. There's nothing I can do for you in Detroit. My mother and dad, who were wonderful, came in and sat with my children. And I went to New York for 5 days, and I sat in Weight Watchers meetings, and I know this was for me. No pills, nothing. I just learned to eat properly and motivation. Jean Knightish was the most fabulous motivator in the whole world. And she was one of my mentors. And then after I'd lost, I went 4 times. The diet was horrible. Today, the diet is fabulous. You can eat anything you want. It's a point system. And I lost 40 pounds in 4 months, 10 pounds a month. I came back on a monthly basis. And Jean said, why don't you take this back to Detroit? And I said, that sounds really good. But by that time, I was so full of all this great respect for myself, because that's what you get when you do things that you don't think you could ever do.
Yes.
And you do them, you get respect. It wasn't just that I lost the weight. It was I felt so good about me. I wanted to go out. I wanted to do what you do. I wanted to be on television. I wanted to be a reporter. I wanted to write for a newspaper. I'm a writer and all the rest. But I'm going to have one class. I'm going to bring my whole little fat family and a few fat friends. And that's how Weight Watchers got started. And by the way, I've lost 50 pounds and kept it off now for almost 50 years. But the thing is that I'd only lost 40 at that time. It took me 1 year to lose the last 10. But Lisa, I did it.
Yes,
and
you did.
That's the important thing. It's not how long it takes you to do what your passion is.
Yes.
It's that you finally will do it. Just keep trying.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, what a story, what an inspiration. And like you say, it's not how long. You keep trying, and that's that capacity. You got to keep it going no matter what. Don't give up,
Right.
And I have tremendous respect for your story. One of the things I learned in reading your story, and you've told this before to me, is that when you did start this business, you went to the bank for that $5,000, that loan. Tell us about how they wanted that loan in your husband's name.
Yes, 40, 50 years ago, women were not what we are today. And we've only gone a little far. We've got this much further to go. And I went into the bank and I needed to pay $5,000 was a down payment on the franchise fee. And they said, we can't give it to you. I had a plan, a strategic plan. I knew what I was doing. I had an asset. They said, I'm sorry, we can't give it to you, only if your husband signs. And I said, no way. I said, I'm going to do this myself. So with all this respect, I went back to the parent company. I said, look, I'm going to be your best franchisee. I don't have the money. Could you just wait until I get the money, and I promise I'm going to pay you? Well, I was so full of energy and enthusiasm and all the other things that you need to be successful. They said yes. And so I started my business. I want you to know, Lisa, when I bought Boston, my first franchise that I bought, I helped other people get franchises. And when they wanted to give up their franchise to either retire or whatever else they wanted to do, they would call me and I would buy their franchise. And when I bought Cincinnati, I needed like $3-4 million. I don't know what it was to buy this franchise. And I went back to the same bank, Lisa.
Yes.
And at that now, here I am. I'm so successful. Everybody knows who I am. I'm having a wonderful business, and they took me upstairs to the executive dining room, and they handed me a check. By the way, I had about 20,000 Xerox copies. I'd never seen so much money in my entire life. And they gave me the money, and I reminded them. I said, a few years back, you wouldn't give me 5,000. Now you're giving me 3 million. I said, we've come a long way. I congratulated the bank because I think they learned that it's very important to take a look at who people are, what they do, what their assets are, how they can pay you back, rather than I'm a woman and I can't get any loans.
Yes. Well, you shattered that limit for sure. And I've watched as you have moved from one stage to the next in the business. And I've done that through the reading of your story and your background, how you've sold the franchises and how you've moved from this place to the next. Can you tell us, as women that are listening, and hi, Valita, hi, Lindell, hi, Benita, lots of ladies here talking to us this morning, saying how inspirational your story is. They're in the chat, Florine. Will you tell me, how do you know just how to figure out what the right next move is? I mean, women right now, sometimes there's confusion. There's complexities in how those decisions are made. You've done it. It looks smooth, but I know there's some background to that. Can you just share for a moment some of the process that you might go through when you're making that decision on what's the right next move?
Okay, sure. Well, I told you in the beginning, what is success? And to me, success, or who I am, let's ask me who I am. I'm
Yeah.
Florine Mark. I'm mother. Now, of course, I'm widowed, so I don't have a husband, so I can't put someone in there. And I'm businesswoman. And then, I'm out there in the public. The most important thing to me as a mother, if you're a working woman and you have children, the most important thing to me was my 5 children. And I ended up having 7. I married a man who brought me 2 more.
Yes.
And I think that we sometimes forget this. And a lot of times we women, especially if you're working for corporations, I was the president of my own company, so I could make my own times and take care of my children. But if you're working for corporations and you don't have good child care, and you don't have parents like I did, or in-laws that will come and help you take care of your kids, you're in trouble. And that's why during this COVID, so many women have stopped working and realize how important it is to be with their children.
Yes.
Of my 7 children, who knows? One could have been president, one
Yes.
could have been Jonas Salk, whatever. And if I don't give them love and kindness and teach them right from wrong,
Yes.
and help them get disciplined, it's my job, my response. Shame on me.
Correct.
So I think one of the things that has to happen in this world and in the United States now, if they want all of us women to go back to work in corporations because we're such good managers, what has to be done is we've got to have good child care.
Yes.
That's really important. And when I go out and speak for big companies, I urge their chairman of the boards and their upper management, why don't you have a child care right in your building?
Right.
And so women can bring their kids and then they can work for you because, people say to me, what's the difference between a man president and a woman president, or a man manager and a woman manager? Well, I think we are more compassionate. We're more compromising. We don't yell and scream a lot. And I think that we think a little bit differently. And
Yes.
I think that the corporate world needs the women to be able to have the yin and yang so that corporations can really move and really go forward. And I think I see so many corporations that have fallen to the wayside, like I see Kmart here in Michigan was the
Yes.
home of Kmart. They didn't change.
Mhm.
They didn't grow with the times. And I think we women, we know how to do that. We're
Yes.
growing our children. We're changing all the time, and we know how to do that. So if you guys want us to come and work for you, and I would love anybody who wants, I'm available. I'm looking for a good job. You've got to have child care. You've got to know the woman has got to be able to be the mother if she is a mother.
Listen up, folks. If you're listening, for those in our audience and for those that are in your corporate offices, make sure that you're carrying this message forward. If you want us women to get back to work, you got to think about what's important to us, and our children are. So at the end of the day, thank you, Florine, for those remarks. What an inspiration that you are sharing with us this morning. I don't take it lightly. You are a legend, and it's basic, how can I say, respect for the fact that you figured it out. And you went through the hard knocks, but at the same time, you made a choice to do that. The inspiration that you have is so important for success. If you could invite 2 people from your past or present to dinner, because you would be one of mine, by the way,
Thank you.
who would they be? And why would you invite them? And what would you talk about?
Well, I think that's such a hard question because I'm sitting at my table now. I can see 30 people.
Yes.
I can't figure out who would be only 2 that you asked me that I would really want. I think they have to be living, or can they be people
it can be anyone. And as it's made 2 of the 30. So let's just say,
okay, maybe I would like to have Madame Curie and find out how she did what she did. I think that's really, really
Mm.
she was a woman way before her time. And she did. And look what she did for this.
Yeah.
And I think, maybe I would like to have, well, I'm a big believer in our presidents. I think they're wonderful. And I think I would like to speak with President Obama. I hope he would bring Michelle with him because
Yes,
I think
please.
they're a team. And I would like to have him tell me about his growing up and how he feels and what was it like being president and what did he think he did for this country?
Awesome. Awesome. Interestingly enough, I had the privilege of meeting with him. And I got to tell you, I was smitten. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, right. Me too. Me too. I
was-
met him too, and I was smitten,
you
but I
were
didn't get a chance to really have a conversation with him.
Yes, yes. Okay. Well, so we're having a little fun with our conversation right now. And one of the questions I have for you is if you were able to put something on a billboard, if I'm driving down the street and there's a billboard and it was from you, what would you have to say
I
on
would
it?
say three things. Number one, eat healthy. Food is medicine. Eat healthy. Move.
Yes.
And it could be gardening, it could be swimming, it could be on the treadmill, it could be walking, whatever, but just move.
Yes.
Those are two things. And the third thing is convince yourself that you deserve to be happy and try to be as happy as you can every single day. Listen,
Oh my
every one of us has things. I've lost two husbands, one to cancer, multiple myeloma when I was 35. And when I was 36, I became a grandmother and a widow.
Oh my goodness.
Because my oldest daughter was 18 and she got married and had a baby. And I lost my love of my life to ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh my
I
goodness.
took care of him for 2 years, absolutely couldn't move anything but blink his eyes. He was my hero, okay? So
Yes.
people say, look, you've got everything. I've lost two husbands. I've gone through this, a sister in a wheelchair, but I still keep a good positive attitude. I wrote a book also, Lisa. It's called To the Mirror, and you can get it on Amazon. And I look in the mirror every morning when I get up and I say, good morning, Florine. Today's going to be a good one. And you can do whatever you want as long as you do it and you're not hurting anybody and you can be happy. You are happy. You are healthy. Come on, Florine.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes.
And I do it. And if I get, if I go through periods during the day, and I like to talk only about today. I don't know what's happening tomorrow, and I can't do anything about yesterday, but I can talk about today. I've got to make today the best day it can be. And if I go through the day and I'm feeling a little distressed or sad or whatever, we all have those times.
Yes.
I look in that mirror again and I look in my eyes and I say to myself, good, hi, Florine, come on, get going. You can do it. That's how I get through and I make my life feel good. And I try to give that to everybody. So eat right, move, and try to make yourself.
I see that billboard right now. We got to get that up for sure. I tell you, we got to get that billboard up.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you, our audience is our attendance is just, they're talking to you, Florine. They're saying you definitely are living life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. From Vanita Fields, Dr. Alexandra Rossa says, today's going to be a good one. Talking about today, love that. And you're blessing them. That's what they're saying right now. So we are absolutely excited that you're here. I got one or two more questions and then we'll end our conversation. And believe me, I'm privileged to have you. I thank you for mentoring in the way that you have to me and other women. And I know that's something that you do. You give back. You just give back. That's who you are. And would you consider that to be your superpower? Or is there one other thing that you would consider to be what keeps you going?
Well, number one, I don't think of myself as a legacy. I think of myself as I've still got many good years and lots of good things to do. I'm not sure what those things are.
Yeah.
And I hope there's somebody out there that can say, hey, come and speak for my organization or can sit on my board. I hope that there are people out there that are doing that. But, I would say that it's very important that you love and that you're kind And that, I have a saying, it can't be right for you, Lisa, and wrong for me, but it can't be right for me, Lisa, and wrong for you. So the two of us have to sit there and communicate. You give a little, I give a little, until it becomes right for you and right for me. And
Awesome.
that's the way I try to live my life, with my children, with my family. And I'll tell you one other thing that I'd have. I think of everybody and everything as a circle. And if 30% of the time you push my buttons, Lisa, and you're making me feel sad, I don't look at the 30%. I look at the 70% that you do wonderful things for me. What a good friend, how
Yeah.
much I love you, and all the rest. So if you can do that with everybody, your children, your boss, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and just that 30%, push it off and
Yes.
remember the 70%.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, I promised you will be 30 minutes, and I want to chat with you just about your parting words. The women that are here are women that are mastering their careers, and they're continuing to look at, what's left, because all of us have that moment where we're still pulled forward to do something big with our lives, to give back. And is there something you'd like to say in terms of a career mastered moment, an advice, or something, that tip that you would like to share with the audience today?
Well, I think believe in yourself. That's so important. We are our worst enemies. We're always saying, "Oh, well, I don't like my hair. I don't like my eyes. I don't like my dress. I'm too thin. I'm too fat. I'm too tall. I'm too short."
Yeah.
Believe in you. You are the most wonderful person in the whole world, and you're unique. You are the only one, and you are terrific. And you can make your life either wonderful most of the time, not all the time, or make it happy, or you can make it miserable. And so many people walk around, "Oh, poor little me," and I won't let that. It comes in my mind at times, but I get it out immediately. And I say, "Hey, no, Florine, you can do it, and you deserve, because you're a very nice, wonderful person. And everyone listening to me, you are terrific. You are wonderful. Be sure to tell yourself that and believe in you."
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate having you. I'm going to look for that billboard. I'm going to continue to just follow your star. And I thank you for personally spending time with me at the Career Mastered Awards, and for always saying yes to being the honorary chairperson. And we love you. Thank you, Florine.
Thank you, Lisa.
Absolutely. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being with us today, and to remind you that Career Mastered Magazine is absolutely available for you to subscribe to, so that you would make sure that you don't miss out on any of the inspiring stories that we present. Wasn't she wonderful? Florine Mark, the incredible, remarkable Florine Mark. I had counted a privilege that she says yes when I call, and the fact that she's given us so much inspiration this morning. And I thank you for being with us today. All of you that are commenting in the chat, continue to talk about some of the inspirational gems that she's given us. She left us with believe in ourselves. And I think that is important. And the 70-30 rule. So that's a lot for 1/2 hour. I want to remind you to pick up the Career Mastered magazine. It is on the retail market right now. You can go to careermaster.com or amazon.com to pick it up, or issue.com. There's no reason for you not to have it. It is filled with stories of the class of 2022 leaders. We had over 80 women that we honored during the summit. So your call to action today is to subscribe to Career Mastered magazine. You can do that again at careermaster.com. I look forward to seeing you on our next show, which will be next Thursday. And I thank you again for being with us, and for supporting us, and for supporting each other.